what do you want to happen? What are the 3 next things you need to do? That's honestly my secret to my success. That's what I'm focused on. What are the next 3 things? Because if I look farther, it's too much. I can't see it. I can see these 3 things, and I'm just going to keep moving every quarter and get to where I want to get to. And I'm seeing success in a shorter amount of time than I did last time. Like, it's my 4th digital business.
Yeah.
I'm seeing success differently because I'm doing that consistently now. And yes, I'm a little bit older and a little bit wiser and I know a little bit more. But that's what I tell all of my clients to do. My kids are graduating college. That's how they've seen success. And I hope everyone listening can try that and let me know how it works for you.
Welcome to How to Trust Yourself, the podcast for anyone who's done with the endless second guessing and ready to tune in to your inner guidance. I'm Anna Holtzman, and I get that feeling of trudging through life like you're wading through mud, trying to figure out which way to go. In my 20s, I spent more time asking what should I do with my life than writing about crushes or bad dates in my journal. I've tried on a lot of answers: architecture, publishing, editing reality TV for a decade, and finally landing on therapy and coaching, helping people like you connect with your purpose. But here's the thing I've learned through all those twists and turns. Trusting yourself is the key to moving forward, even when the path feels messy. So if you're ready to stop doubting yourself and start listening to your gut, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. Welcome back, dear listener. If you've ever felt hesitant to put yourself out there, worried that you'll sound salesy, get it wrong, or just take up too much space, this episode is your invitation to stop shrinking and start showing up with purpose. My guest today is Beth Nydick, a powerhouse visibility strategist, former TV producer, and the go-to media mentor for authors, coaches, and entrepreneurs who are ready to turn podcast interviews into paying clients. She's been featured on The Drew Barrymore Show, Oprah Daily, and top podcasts like Earn Your Happy and Cubicle to CEO. Her approach is about getting strategic, getting visible, and getting results without relying on ads, funnels, or fluff. Now, Beth isn't quiet. She's definitely not afraid to take up space, but what makes her style so powerful is that it's never about ego. It's about generosity, clarity, and helping others rise with you. For those of us who tend to hold back or overthink our message, Beth is a living, breathing permission slip to speak up, own your expertise, and ask for what you want with confidence and compassion. In this conversation, we'll talk about why podcast guesting is one of the most underused sales tools in the online business world, how to be intentional and compelling on the mic without sounding like a walking sales pitch, and what it really takes to move from just visible to truly memorable and profitable. Whether you're new to visibility or ready to amplify your voice in a bigger way, Beth brings the kind of Jersey love and tactical brilliance that will light a fire under you in the best way. Let's get into it. Beth, welcome. It's so nice to meet you. This is one of those situations where I've been listening to a ton of interviews you've done, so I sort of feel like I know you already, but you're meeting me for the first time, and I'm really meeting you for the first time. Thanks for being here.
It's so nice to be here. And I love listening to the podcast. So I'm so happy to be here as well.
So for folks who have not yet done a deep dive on you, could you please share with this audience what you do and who you help?
100%. So I help people in the digital space that don't want to just be another guest and want to be the reason someone actually listens to a podcast, someone that actually pulls out their credit card. So I'm a visibility strategist, a former TV producer, and I know how someone becomes unforgettable. It's those retellable stories. So I work with digital people, coaches, consultants, authors, creators who are done being on the podcast and have nothing to show for it, and actually turn those media moments and all their visibility moments into client generating machines. Because if you're showing up and you're not getting anything for it other than like, that was great, honey, from your mom, that's not exposure. That's actually a waste of like mascara and mic time.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing this with us. And so on this podcast, we've got a variety of guests, and listeners tend to fall into a number of different categories, from creatives, entrepreneurs, coaches, human beings that just have a big heart and care a lot. The common denominator tends to be that, we're caring people, we're sensitive people, and like purpose driven. And I know that you didn't just wake up one day and decide, like, look at a list of possible careers you could do and say, I don't think I'll do this for no reason, right? Like, it's personal experience that led you here. So could you share what is the path that led you to doing this?
And I actually started in TV. I was a kid actress. I went to like acting camp with like Adam Levine and girls that were in Square Pegs with Sarah Jessica Parker and Broadway stars. But I couldn't sing. So I started becoming like behind the scenes. How did this stuff all work? And I would say like TV raised me, but PR actually learned how to get me paid. And then diving
Yeah.
into entrepreneurship, my parents were entrepreneurs, my in-laws were entrepreneurs. I was that girl with the caboodle with all the barrettes inside in third grade. Remember the barrettes with like
The caboodle. Yeah.
with all like the silk strings,
Strings. Oh, I
right?
had those. I love
Right,
those.
that was
Yeah.
me in third grade. But as a professional, I was in all the major newsrooms. I was at NBC, I was at Fox, and I watched people who were being interviewed that didn't have any really substance to being interviewed. While I was meeting all these amazing women who actually had real expertise, but just didn't know how to use it in what they were doing. And when I left TV, and what I do now is really get people to stop chasing likes and start building a brand. I really was just sick of people being in the spotlight, but not knowing how to use it, right? Because everyone's kind of taught to like get visible and like things will happen. But awareness doesn't pay the bills. Having a strategy behind it does. And being a former producer and watching my parents grow several seven-figure businesses, that's when I actually learned that I could do it and how to do it the right way.
I, you know, I want to go off the script a moment
Yeah.
from the questions we had, because what something I'm curious about is, like, because a lot of the listeners of this podcast, like me, are sensitive types.
Yes.
There's this often conflicting thing that goes on where it's like, we want to be seen, we want to, like, express ourselves, be creative, and live out loud.
Okay.
And there's also this deathly fear of feeling exposed,
Mhm.
the judgment, the this, the that. Was that something, like, what's that been like for you?
You're going to hate my answer.
I can't wait.
I'm a middle child. So
Yeah.
that should explain a lot. And I'm like out when I'm out of the house, I'm very extroverted. When I'm in the house,
Yeah.
I'm very introverted. So I welcome exposure because I think one of the reasons as I come to it from this point of view is like when I want to accomplish something or when you want to accomplish something, a lot of people ask themselves, why me? And I want
Yeah.
everyone to release that and start asking yourself, why not me? So, right when when you flip that and then you create the opportunity for you to have the possibility of anything that you want to happen for you in the world, and you're focused on that, or creating that, earning that, being that, because it's like, well, why not me? Like, I don't. You said you deep dive, so I have a cocktail book. But everyone
Yes.
listening, I actually am a published, like traditional published author. I wrote a cocktail book a few years ago. I'm not a bartender. I didn't have 50,000 followers. I didn't have any of the things that you supposedly needed. What I had was a really good idea and the notion or the delusional notion that I could do it. The why not me comes into it. So when that stuff comes up or that fear of being exposed, because what I hear the most is, well, I don't want to be canceled. I don't want coming after me. Like, girl,
Yes.
that doesn't actually happen, right? Unless you're like a racist, super controversial, like you're not going to say anything that somebody's going to have such a big reaction to that it's going to affect your life. And when somebody sends me negative feedback, I love it because my response is, I made you feel something so strongly that you had to reach out. Like, that's amazing. So when you get those And I say when you get those, because you'll get one or two, or your mom will be like, "Are you sure you want to do that?" Yes, is really the answer. But the other answer is to put them on blast. I think it had to be 2 years ago. Somebody sent me a screenshot of a story I had done on Instagram. And I had put a filter on. So I looked like a tan. And he
Yeah.
told me that I had a peanut face.
What?
I know. I'm like,
What even is that?
I have a long face. So I screenshot it and shared it to my stories and tagged that person. And that, right? Like, and it's a why not? And again,
Yeah.
it's not the why not me. Why, if you feel so strongly, I'm going to tell the world, just like somebody would send me, I loved your podcast. I'm going to,
Yeah.
right? I'm going to reshare, say, thanks so much. It for me, honestly, and it goes back to like being bullied in elementary school for having a big mouth and saying my ideas,
Yeah.
right? I got bullied for it. I got like, why are you doing that? Or why are you saying that? That kind of stuff. So I've trained myself to like release that being about me, right? I can make a story about it. I'm not good enough. I didn't do enough. Or the facts are, I'm creating the possibility of my success. These are the things I have to do to get there. Nothing's going to get in my way because that saying, I'm afraid of exposure is just blocking your success. And when you look at it differently, I think you can get around it.
I love that you said that I'm going to hate this answer. And I actually love this
Okay,
answer for a lot of reasons. I mean, you're so funny. Like I knew I was going to love talking to you. Also, in the context of this audience and what this podcast is all about, I'm often talking about the nervous system and how that plays into things like fear of visibility. And so, the sensitive types, and I'm including myself in that, a lot of us, like our first go-to is exactly what you were saying. It's the like, why me? I don't want to take up any space. And if I do, what if people don't like me? What if they cancel me? I hear that exact thing a lot from people who I'm like, what would someone possibly cancel you for?
Like,
You're
what are
just
you
like putting love
saying?
and light out there into the world. And if they did, that's their problem. Or if they tried to, whatever. And so there's like this conditioning, this like nervous system conditioning that visibility is dangerous. So what I love about you sharing your answer with this audience is like, we're all getting to experience your nervous system. And your nervous system is saying like, F that. No, this is not dangerous. This is like, it's great to speak your mind, to put yourself out there. Why not me? And,
Yeah.
you're not going to get canceled for just
Nothing
existing.
nothing bad's gonna
And
happen. Like, there's nothing
right.
bad to happen. I just I actually
And
had
that you can stand up for yourself.
there is nothing better than I go to Trader Joe's and someone's like, "Excuse me, are you Beth?" There's nothing better, right? Or there's nothing better than, like, meeting somebody new and be like, "Oh my god, you're the Beth that she worked with?" Right?
Yeah.
Or, "Oh, I know." My company when I was working in food used to be called Blue Barn Kitchen, and I used to get, "Oh, you're that blue girl." Right? It doesn't matter because what you actually want to have happen in your business is you want to make somebody feel something. And when that's your goal, there's not a lot of room around it for the nervous system to protect you, to make you feel something else than what the goal is. Because I feel like when you're in action, there's not that room for that stuff to come in. Because if you let that stuff in, and we all do, I'm not saying that I don't. I had an opportunity actually last week, a big opportunity last week, and I was so excited about it. And then I got into bed and I was like, well, can I, what, can I do that? Right?
Yeah.
Like we
Yeah.
all have those moments, but it's me. Then the next thought is like, of course you can do it. Because if you're
Yeah.
in this business, you have to be delusional that you can do anything.
And also what I just took away from what you were saying is like, sure, you might get some negative comments. It happens. I've gotten some, you learn to just like block and delete or whatever your personal method is. Um, but the payoff for those like few negative comments that you're going to get, the payoff is getting to connect with your people, like getting to meet the people who are going to be your clients, your friends,
Mhm.
your like biggest cheerleaders and
Oh,
supporters. I mean, you putting yourself out there, has led to all those encounters you were describing. And I'm like, yeah, and I'm one of those who like contacted you out of the blue and was like, I'm obsessed with you. Like, please be on my podcast because I just want to have a conversation with you. So, all right. So I want to get into the nitty gritty of the stuff that you teach. And one of the biggest things that you teach is, why is podcast guesting the most underutilized sales strategy in the online business world?
I think it's the most underutilized sales strategy in the business world because we're not taught to use it as a sales mechanism. We're taught to use it as visibility and
Yeah.
exposure, which means nothing, Anna. Like, what does those two words mean, right? It's like, because people are like, well, if I'm out there, if my clients will find me, rather than, no, 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 my people. This is a business tool that you are using incorrectly because you
Yeah.
do have a marketing strategy, right? You do have a social media strategy or email marketing strategy. What is your visibility strategy? When I ask that to on like a sales call or prospects, for people to notice me is usually the answer. I'm like, no, 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 no. Is your goal sales, right? What season are you in? Sales, awareness, or credibility building, right? So when you're launching your products, how do those goals fit in there? So what activities are you doing around those goals to actually get that thing to happen? Right? To
Yeah.
build your email list, to make sales of downloads or programs that you have, or to build your credibility so you can get on those different stages, or sell your book, or get a book deal, or get a speaking coach, or speaking agent, or whatever those things are, instead of, oh, I'm just going to go have a conversation. Like, to be transparent, we had conversations before this conversation,
Yes.
what we were going to talk about, of what I wanted to be asked. This is not, oh, we're just going to like hang out. We can go meet for coffee in New York City and hang out. This is a business tool that we both are using. So our audiences get to know who we are better, right? Because your audience is going to come listen. My audience is going to come listen. And then our respective audiences are going to learn about each other. So
Yeah.
it's not just about getting it. It's about using your visibility goals for sales.
Amazing. Okay. I have a follow-up
Okay.
question to this.
Yeah.
So for my audience, my clients, my peeps,
Right.
right? Us sensitive folks, I can imagine what some of like our barriers are to using, for those who are guesting on podcasts,
Mhm.
and that's many of my clients.
Yeah.
The barriers to actually using this as a sales strategy, I think, for my people are probably just simply that fear, again, fear of visibility. So it's like deer in headlights, strategy. No, I'm just going to kind of like hold my nose, jump in this pool, hope that I survive. And, not going to think about a strategy because I'm just trying to survive exposing myself to eyeballs and ears, right? And I think another one is this people pleaser tendency, right? Like that's like an unconscious safety mechanism for folks who, unconsciously we believe that it's safer to be small. So instead of just defining what it is it that I want out of this, why am I doing this for me? And then asking for what you want and being direct about it while also sharing what you have to offer the world. Instead of that, it's like, well, let me just try to be liked by the person interviewing me, and
Yeah.
et cetera. So I'm curious for your people,
Mhm.
is it similar things? Is it different things? Is it simply lack of education? What holds people back from using this as a strategy?
I hear all of those things. And
Yeah.
to a lot of times I'll be like, well, this is not for you. Go do something else because I love
Mm.
you and I want you to succeed. And if you can't get yourself past the fear and you've been trying, and I mean actually trying, and it's been a good chunk of time, it's
Yeah.
okay that this isn't for you. But if
I
you're
love that.
moving through it, right, and you're like, I'm terrified, but I've been on 5 podcasts this year. I've gone live once. Like, I don't care what it is, but if
Yeah.
you're moving the needle into it, then you need somebody who's going to see you and help you push you through that. Many
Yeah.
people work with me and they tell me the reason I worked with you is because I knew you're going to make me do hard things.
Yeah.
And if it's not me and if it's not Anna and it's somebody else, you need somebody in your corner to be able to help you identify those fears and identify the blocks and the roadblocks you're putting in front of you to getting to the other side. Because it's okay to hold your nose, but not for a year.
Yeah, I love that. And it's so true. We like whatever we're afraid of, we need someone to hold our hand through it. And we need someone who we vibe with. Sometimes like I love how you often talk about how like, you're all about Jersey love and it's like, it's you being you and I'm me being me and it's like whatever tone of someone's voice or the sense of humor helps you feel like, you know, if they're holding my hand, I can do it. That's it.
Yeah.
That's
It has
totally
to be
it.
it. It has to be it. So, because I teach a system, it's called the Profitable Podcast Guest System. And once you learn the system, it's doing the work, right?
Yeah.
It's somebody seeing you, somebody saying yes. Because a lot of what coaches actually do, to be, in my opinion, and to be totally transparent, is called permission. Because
Yes.
people will say to me, well, I really would love to do this. And my response is often, okay, let's do it. What do you need to do first? Like it's not what we're doing is not
Yeah.
rocket science, but what we actually are doing, I didn't make this up. I got this from somebody, but being an entrepreneur is like doing personal development on crack.
Yes, I've heard that too.
Right?
And I agree fully.
Fully. So, how do you get through that? Right? How do you keep
Yeah.
going through that? Because if you look at the people that you admire, and whoever that is, that could be from Lori Harder to Jasmine Starr to Jen Gottlieb, I don't care who it is. What they've done is push through it. I would say it's like pushing the darkness into the light, and pushing
Yeah.
through it is fear because we're all afraid. It's not like I don't want to throw up every time I go on television, right?
Mm.
Like I can do podcasting now, but even in the beginning, I'd be like, we're all nervous and stuff. It's getting through that and pushing through that to the other side because every time you hit a goal, then it's doing that again to get to the next one. You go, because I've been on big podcasts and I've stood in front of the mirror in the morning of like, you can do this, you can do, like, just go do this.
Yeah.
And that's okay. And that's real.
A quick pause here because I want to invite you into something that I think could shift the way you feel about showing up. If you're a sensitive creative or entrepreneur, and the idea of being really seen and heard brings up fear, resistance, or that, oh no, not me feeling, you are in good company. My free visibility workshop, Let Yourself Be Seen, is all about making visibility feel safe to your nervous system and true to you. We'll explore how to work with fear as a doorway into more authentic self expression so you can share the work that matters most to you without pushing, pretending, or burning out. You can save your spot or catch the replay at annaholtzman.com/be seen. Okay, let's get back to the conversation. Amazing. This next question, I feel like we've covered part of this, but I know you have more to say about this.
I always have more to say.
Yes. And I'm so here for it. So the question is, what's your response to people who say just get visible and the right people will find you? And I know you have personal experiences with this.
Yeah.
That's taught you the opposite.
It's just BS. It just really is.
Yeah.
It's a marketing message, right? It's a short-sighted, I'm going to play on your fears. You just need to do this one thing to make 10K.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
You're right. You need to do
I
these.
just feel myself clench up here because, I use Instagram scrolling as an unhealthy coping mechanism for stress, right?
Yes.
And it's just like stress, 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 there is the one secret to changing your life, blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
It's
one secret
a
wrapped
mess.
in 50 secrets, right?
Yeah.
But actually, it's none of it's a secret.
No.
It's all relationships. It's all being yourself. It's all putting yourself out
Yeah.
there. So I'll take it back a second. This is sometimes what I answer it with instead. Why would Brad Pitt, Tom Cruise, Nicole Kidman do all of the morning talk shows and all of the evening talk shows if you could sell a movie or an anything with one piece of content?
Good question.
Like Nicole Kidman or like Brad Pitt, that F1 movie is coming out or just came out. I want to see it. I have to go look. Brad Pitt, right, has done 50 media spots this week to sell the movie. And who doesn't know who Brad Pitt is? So why do you, who nobody knows who you are yet, or people who kind of know who we are, if we showed up once, people think that if they're going to get on Amy Porterfield's podcast, their life is going to change. And I'm not sorry to say, and I hope that this saves a lot of people crying and weeping and all the time in the world. That's not how it works. It's just not how it works. It's getting visible over and over and over and over and over again in a way that people can hear your message, hear your heart, and understand who you are. Because right now, in what's going on in our industry, it is all about trust. Everyone's been burned. Everyone spent 30 grand on that bad coach, or I didn't get what I paid for, that kind of stuff. And people like you and I are like so about our integrity and making sure that we're over delivering and really helping people. Because people come to me that all the time. They're like, well, Beth, I've been on 50 podcasts this year and nothing's happened. And you're going to love my response, because my response is like, oh, that's your fault. What did you do with it? Well, I put it in my stories. Right. That's why I created the system, because it's an actual system that we implement into your business. So you continually get visibility and you continually use that visibility for whatever your visibility goal is, not just to get exposure.
Yeah. To show up again and again. And again, like I'll bring it back to like the sensitive person's dilemma is like that fear of taking up space. And I was laughing when you said that being on one big podcast is not going to change your life. I think that because I've certainly fallen prey to that idea again and again. And I think that what you're talking about, first of all, it's just true. I can say from personal experience. And second of all, it's like on the one hand, hearing that could stress you out. And you're like, really? It was like, it took me so much to just like work up to doing that one, thing, that one podcast. Like, I have such a vulnerability hangover now. Like, I just want to crawl under the covers and never have to do this again. So, like, what? You're telling me I have to show up consistently?
Yeah.
So, yeah, on the one hand, it could overwhelm.
Mm-hmm.
On the other hand, it's a huge relief because I'll speak from firsthand experience, but I know this connects to many folks listening. Is I've had the experience where, I showed up once, big bang, and then shock of shocks, my life did not completely change. And then, the thought process is like, oh, people don't like me. I'm not good enough. I'm not talented enough. I'm not worthy enough. Who did I think I was? And that shame spiral, which the antidote, I think, to that shame spiral is hearing from you exactly what you're saying. Like, no, it's nothing about your value. This is just simply not how human relationships work. Saying something once and expecting everything to change. We know that doesn't happen in our personal relationships. Like for anyone that has a life partner, you don't say something once and then suddenly everything
so
changes.
Nice.
It would be.
I come to it this way. We can make up stories about anything. And we continually make up stories that hurt us. Right? Like if Anna had reached out to me and I hadn't answered right away, you could have, Beth hates me. She thinks she's too good. Right? You could have created all these things. Or it's Friday, not that you did this, but it's Friday at 3:00 and she hasn't looked at it. Why are we making up the story that's hurting us rather than pushing us forward? So I would ask everyone that's listening, if this is really resonating with you, change the story. Stop thinking that what you're thinking is the truth and tell your brain to think something else. Right? They would be lucky to have me. Why not me? Whatever that thing is, because when we create that story to stop us, again, we're creating the story to stop us. So let's all create stories to help us get to the next level of whatever that is. Because I think when you come to it from like you said, it just took me so much to get here and to do this one thing. And I have a vulnerability hangover, which I want to know more about. Because I think that's really an interesting terminology, right? Instead of that, I'm so tired. That was so much. I can't believe I did that. That was easy. That felt good. Then you can do another one with ease. Then you can get on more stages with ease. Then you can get on those bigger stages. And that's how everything actually works I like to call them your lady gang, right? You can be your lady gang, your man. I live with my kids are bigger. So I always say, like,
Yeah.
I live with 3 men and a male dog. So I live with 4 male entities in my house. Like, I just want to be around ladies sometimes, right? But when I'm having those times and when you're having those times, who are you DMing? Who are you calling? You cannot do this business by yourself. And so many women try to do that
100%.
without the, I'm having a really hard time. Can you check on me today? My launch isn't going well. Like, we have to find people we can be honest with. We have to find people who we can be vulnerable with, because this is not like a game that you can play by yourself. It really needs to be a game that you're playing with a group.
100,000%. I like everything that you're saying.
Let's be around
I
each
affirm
other.
100,000%. And, and again, it's like, this is stuff that, I've learned the hard way from
Yeah.
going in all these negative thought spirals. And I have to say, it's not that I no longer have these negative
No.
thought spirals. I fully do. But exactly as you're saying, I'll share the negative thought spiral with my set of girlfriends that I send voice messages to, because I know they're going to reflect back to me something positive that changes that thought cycle. If no one's available, I'll spit it into Chat GPT, because I know Chat GPT is going to, help turn that frown around or whatever it
Cheerleader.
is.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
funny.
We need, again, from like my like nervous system set of terms, like we need that co-regulation with
Yeah.
someone who's going to reliably lift us up, because the person on the other end of a cold pitch, they might wind up being someone that's going to lift you up once you know each other, but you can't rely on that when you don't have a connection yet.
Yeah. And I think cold pitching, honestly, is the kiss of death. Not to say
Yeah.
that I don't do it. I've been cold pitching Lewis Howe's podcast for about 2 years now. Right. And one day I'll get picked up. One day I'll be in there. And I do that. I might never get on that show, but I do that as an exercise that I can do hard things.
Yeah.
Right. But everyone that's listening, that's like, I don't want to send another pitch that goes nowhere. Okay, great. Who do you know that has a podcast? Or
Yeah.
who do you know that has an Instagram that will go live with you? Like, let's start where we can actually make moves. Because tomorrow I'm going to be on Jasmine Starr's podcast. Oh, well, that's not happening. Right? Because Jasmine has her friends on, just as all the rest of them do. They have people who are in their circles, who they're connected to. I don't take cold pitches for my show. I don't know. I'm assuming you don't either. Everybody in this business knows somebody that has a platform they can be on. Let's start there. So
Yeah.
I challenge everybody who's watching to ask 2 people that they know to go be on their platforms. And then DM us, or actually even better, if you tag us in a post, I will reshare it. I'm sure Anna will too. That kind of activity is going to get you on the road to doing the bigger things, and to not allow all the stuff that we've been talking about, and the fear and the blocking and the self-sabotage and the imposter syndrome. Because once you do it, you're like, oh, that wasn't so hard. I didn't die. No lightning bolt came and struck me down. I can do this again. I can do this again.
And bringing it into the realm of relationship, which
Mhm.
is the realm this stuff is in,
Oh yeah.
it takes down the fear immediately, because you're like, oh, people that I know, like I know how to talk to people I know. I think when we hear the word visibility, we instantly think, a
Yes.
sea of strangers who hate me, right? It's like, no, this is about connection and relationship. So I want to ask the $10,000 question,
Okay.
which is, because this is your specialty. How do you make $10,000 from a free guest spot on a podcast without sounding like a walking sales pitch, with, keeping it in the realm of relationship and like
Right.
being a human being like we're talking about?
There's 3 pieces to it. The first piece is what you're actually saying on air and how you're connecting to the person listening. Because I love you, Anna, but I'm actually not talking to you, right? I'm actually talking to everyone that's listening to us. Because
Yes.
right, that's the difference I need to make. Telling retellable stories, acknowledging the people listening to us are driving, walking, changing the laundry, feeding the kids, right? They're not sitting in front of their computer like, oh, I'm going to go look up Beth on Instagram right now. What am I doing on the podcast that when you remember, or when you get back to your desk or get back to your phone, oh, I want to go look up Beth?
Yeah.
That's the first thing that you have to really think about. because that's how you're going to make people be in action, is moving from listening to me to remembering you listened to me and remembering who I am and why and what I made you feel like. So if people listening, I hope I've already made you a little nervous. I hope I've already scared you a little bit. I hope I've made you feel loved. I hope you have made you feel seen. And I hope you made you feel enough that you're like, well, I'm at least going to go see what her Instagram looks like. I'm at least going to do something, right? That's one big piece of it. The other pieces around that are your promotional marketing and your email marketing. So often people will be on a podcast, right? They'll record it. They might post that they recorded it, and then they post or they might tell their audience when it comes out. What about when you book it? What about before you book it? What about as you book it, asking your audience what they want to hear, like bringing your audience along for the ride? I say this often to my clients all the time, especially when they're doing like in person, like they're going to an event. I'm like, ask your audience what you should wear. If I'm on a podcast, asking my audience, what should I talk about? Hey, I'm going to be on Anna's podcast. You should go listen. But while you go listen, I think this is what I did recently for a podcast. I was like, hey, can you guys go listen to these 2 episodes and tell me what you think I should talk about? And I gave them very specific questions because I'm allowing my audience to know that I really value their opinion. I'm allowing them to know what I'm doing and when I'm doing it. So when the podcast actually comes out, they are already prepped for me to be on it to go listen to it. Like that's the kind of stuff that I teach within my program called Mike to Millions, which is a 3-month container where I really go deep into the strategy of the profitable podcast guest system. And that's what I mean is a system. Every time you book something, A, B, C, and D. Every time you're on something, A, B, C, and D. Versus this like, well, I'm just gonna like put it in my story and think people. Nothing is gonna happen. So when you do all of those things, that's when you do most of those things. No one can do all of those things. But when you do most of them, right? And that's the feedback I get. They're like, Beth, well, I can't do all of that. So that's why I say, like, if you did 3 of the things for each piece of my program, that's when I just heard you on Anna's podcast. Like, how do I work with you? Should I buy your download? Should I be in your program? You know, those kinds of the DMs of that was amazing. I really loved when you said X, Y, and Z. And then how I follow up with them. Then how I follow up with you. For example, I was on a podcast recently, like 4 or 5 months ago. I was just on her summit. I'm speaking in her community in a few weeks, and I've already booked my next podcast appearance because her audience is my audience. So that's what I mean. And I hope that illustrated to everybody. This is a business tool. This is a business strategy, not this thing that just put on the mic and go have conversations.
And I know you have a 10K checklist.
I do.
That elaborates on all of this wisdom that you're dropping.
Right. So hopefully nobody took notes. The transcript's probably available. But yeah, so if you go to my link in bio, either on my website or on Instagram, and I always send people to Instagram because then you can like kind of get the feel of who I am. It's called it's called the 10K checklist, how to make 10K every time you step up to the mic. And it's a checklist of the 3 or 4 things you should be doing before, during, and after every podcast so that you do have the opportunity to turn it into revenue and use it as a lead generation tool. And that way you can get into my community and be told of all the next times I get to be on amazing podcasts like Anna's and learn how do you really use this visibility in your business and not just for exposure.
Amazing. I want to pick up on something you said a little bit earlier, which was it was very funny to me anyway. You're like, I love you, Anna, but I'm really not talking to you. I'm talking to your audience, right? Like I'm using this visibility as a strategic tool.
Right.
And so just to back it up for a moment, I'm like, well, how do we combine strategy and relationship like we were talking about earlier? Like this isn't about talking to a sea of robots. It's about forming human relationships and also using strategy and selling. And when I reached out to you, I mean, that was a cold pitch because we had never connected before, but I was familiar with your work and I wanted to get to know you. And it was both strategic because I was like, I want to know her in business. And it was also relationship because I was like, I like her. I want to talk to her. Like, I want to know her. How do those things go together? Because I think a lot of people think, well, business is over here, like strategy is over here, and it's like sneaky or duplicitous or what, they have these negative connotations. And then relationship is over here on this other bucket.
I don't feel that way, I guess is really what it's about. Like, I'm doing
Yeah.
this with my friends,
Yeah.
right? My colleagues are some of my best friends in the world, right? And I get to make new friends every time I'm on a podcast and I think we had people in common.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
looked to see who else was on, and I was like, oh, these are like my friends are on. So of course, like, how do I not know you already?
Yeah.
Because it's relationship marketing, right? It's relationship business building. Like, like you need your lady gang. And if you don't do this with your friends, it's very hard to get ahead because it is all about the relationships and understanding who each other is, what each other can contribute, and then helping each other get there. Because if you're not really in this business, if you're out for yourself, right? Like, we're not in the community of bros, right? Like, I always feel like they're very much out for themselves and they're out to just make money. Women and men who are in our spheres are about making an impact and
Yeah.
changing people's lives and making a difference in their life. And when you do that, you can't but have relationships. Like, my former clients, I still talk to 90% of them, and they're my friends, and I invite them to things. Like, I just had I just finished my last round of Mike to Millions, and I had this amazing woman in it. When I met her, I could see who she could become. And I actually spoke to a friend of hers on Friday who was like, "You're the one."
Yeah.
And that's why I do this work, because somebody saw me like that 20 years ago. And I realized the power of that. And that's what I want to transfer to other people. And that's what I want everyone to understand. We all do this work to help each other. We all do this work to move the needle for each other. Yeah, we all want money. We all want freedom. We all want lifestyle. Like, that's a given. But if that's what your focus is, then you're probably not in our community. Our communities are about feeling each other into that big goal and supporting them to get there. And you can only do that with the people that you have feelings for. Because you can suss out the people who want to be your friend because they want something.
It's so true. And it's a vibe, it's a gut check.
Oh,
And it's, I once again, I couldn't agree more with what you're saying. And I feel like for me, I wouldn't be able to show up consistently for my business. It's not even about like, making sales or strategy that works or whatever, having other people promote your work. I would not be able to continue to show up for the work that I care about. That is like it's my business, but it's also my passion project
right.
all rolled up into one. And putting yourself out there like that is so vulnerable. I was talking about the vulnerability hangover.
Yeah.
Like, I need those friendships and relationships to keep lifting me up and helping me ride those waves of those vulnerability hangovers.
Yeah. And for everyone else around you to be vulnerable. Because
Yeah.
when entrepreneurs get together, it's a different conversation. Right? Most of us have let go of relationships of people who aren't there. Because
Yeah.
again, personal development on crack, right? As you're transforming yourself, as you transform other people, it's hard to have like, well, it's sweaty outside, right? Like, we
Yeah.
we just have different conversations because that's where we are in our life and our business, and thank God for that. I don't want to have small talk. I want to go right deep, right in, and that's what I love most about my community and meeting women like you and the people that are listening is they too want to have that. They don't want to have the like, let's all look shiny and pretty on Instagram. I'm like, no, I need to get my roots done. Like,
It's so funny too. I just want to add one more thing to this, which is by funny coincidence,
you need to get your roots done. No.
I'm letting it all hang out. Um, by funny coincidence, a friend and colleague who we might work together. We're about to explore that on a call, like right after this call. She was saying to me that she wants to work. She's a practitioner in the wellness space, and who she really wants to work with as her clients are her peers, her colleagues. But she's afraid that then she'll lose those people as friends. And so we were talking about how like it's the best when you're working with your friends like that. It's like everything that
Yeah.
makes you feel good is integrated.
Yeah, and no, I feel like that a lot too, right? We're in these big rooms or in these spaces, and everybody knows a lot. And I
Yeah.
would feel like, but nobody knows what I know, right?
Yeah.
Like everyone comes to me for media education. And I have clients. So I have clients who are like 8, 9, and 10 figure business owners. I've had the same conversation with them. This one does marketing and this one does content and this, but I don't know what I'm about, right? Because
Yeah.
we feel like everyone else needs to know what they're about. Nobody knows anything. Oh, actually, can I tell you a quick story? We have a little
Please
more time.
do.
So
Yes.
there's this guy, I forget his name, on social media that he created this project that he was going to talk to 10,000 people. He
Yeah.
started in like 2019. My son last week went and had a conversation with this guy. I think he's had conversations with like 7,000 people. And he's in his
Mm.
20s. He speaks all over the country now. He was on TV a whole bunch. My son,
Yeah.
who's 23, asked him, like, what's the through line? What can you see that everybody says?
Yeah.
No one knows what they're doing. That's what he said.
Yes. Hallelujah.
And my 23-year-old was like, I thought adults knew what they were doing. I thought you had to accomplish something before you could try something. Like he wants.
Sorry to break it to you.
Right. And he's like, can I go out and be a speaker? I was like, you've had experiences. You could totally go speak to high school kids, go speak to middle school kids. You could speak to adults too. But he was so surprised. I wasn't surprised, but it was nice to like get validated that that's actually 7,000 people are all winging it. And my 10-figure business owners and my baby business owners, we're all winging it. We're all just doing what we think is the right thing to do. And that's why the one secret doesn't work, right? It's about strategy, it's about community, and it's about making people feel safe so that we can all do the things that we want to do to make a better impact and hopefully make a better world, at least a digital world.
I love that so much. I'm going to tell a extremely quick personal story that just like corroborates exactly what you said. So my one of my earliest jobs out of school was I got to be an editor at a magazine, and I was like, who the F am I to be an editor? It was an architectural magazine. I was like barely out of college, and it was fun and exciting, but I was totally overwhelmed with this imposter syndrome. So I decided I was going to come to work early and stay late for however long it took to go into the archive room and read every page of every magazine they ever printed. And as you can well imagine, that, burned me out in about 2 seconds. It was like such a miserable project. And when I finally did feel confident and comfortable in that role, I was like, oh, confidence is knowing that it's okay to not know.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Mm.
I love how you put that too. Like the confidence to have, like having the confidence to be like, I don't know, I'm just winging it.
Yeah.
I'm just
And
not
that's
trying
cool
things.
because everyone else is too.
Right. And everybody fails and everybody sucks and everybody wins and everybody doesn't suck. Like it's just about all that. So going back to the fear that you were talking about before, and that's why I really want to hit home with that. Like we're all making that up. It's all to keep ourselves small. And some of us got messages that we're supposed to be small. Some of us did. Like, it doesn't matter what it is. What do you want to happen? What are the 3 next things you need to do? That's honestly my secret of my success. That's what I'm focused on.
Yeah.
What are the next 3 things? Because if I look farther, it's too much. I can't see it. I can see these 3 things, and I'm just going to keep moving through those 3 things every quarter and get to where I want to get to. And I'm seeing success in a shorter amount of time than I did last time. Like, it's my 4th digital business.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
seeing success differently because I'm doing that consistently now. And yes, I'm a little bit older and a little bit wiser and I know a little bit more. But that's what I tell all of my clients to do. My kids are graduating college. That's how they've seen success and what they've been trying to do. And I hope everyone listening can try that and let me know how it works for you.
Yeah. And just to add one thing to that, yeah, everyone doesn't know what they're doing. Everyone fails, everyone blah, blah, blah. And everyone needs help.
Yes.
Like like you said, trying to do it alone is like the slowest route to nowhere. We're at that time where I want to ask the final 3 questions that I ask every guest. And the first of those is, if there is a soapbox message that you feel is infused into everything you do, everything you say, it doesn't have to be the singular one, but like whatever lands for you in this moment, what is that soapbox message?
Visibility is not the goal, and getting booked is not the goal. Having a strategy that sells what you say, that's actually the goal, because being on a podcast can be a performance, right? It could just be It could just be an act, right? But it actually has to be the pipeline to what you're trying to get to. Like, this is not a hobby. And I say that a lot. If this is a hobby, okay, be a hobby, but it's not. And this is not hope, because hope is not a strategy and hope is not going to get you anywhere. Having a plan, having a strategy, and like I just said, taking 3 steps every week, every day, every month, that's the one thing that you need to get there.
Yes. Thank you for those words. For the folks who are listening, who are feeling a little bit inspired and a little bit scared and a little bit freaked out and a
Okay.
little bit overwhelmed, where the hell do I start? Should I even start?
Yes.
Or should I just crawl back into bed and pull the covers up? What words of encouragement do you have for that person?
You already have everything you need, and only you can create your own possibility of success. Nobody's going to come save you. The right marketing message isn't going to save you. The right VA is not going to save you. That next, mindset, business, whatever coach is not going to save you. Strategy is the only thing that's going to get you anywhere. And having something to say. And that's one of the things we didn't cover that I wanted to make sure we got to, because having that one story, having that one CTA, and having that one system that you can plug and play everywhere, that's what's going to bring people back over and over and over again, because it's just about that one thing. And if you have something that somebody wants to hear and that somebody needs to hear, that's how you make massive shifts in your business and massive shifts in your life. And that's the only way that you can get there, because everyone says, right, like we said at the beginning, you need more visibility, you need more exposure. No, you need to have profitability in your business using the visibility that you already have.
I love when you said it's just the one thing. I was like, exhale, like fear coming down, nervous system relaxing, because simplicity is grounding.
Yeah. It's one
Simplicity
thing to
brings
say, like you
yeah.
listen to a lot of my podcasts, I say the same thing over and over and over and over and over again, because I have a conversation I have on podcasts. I have a conversation I have on stages. There's a different conversation for social media. So pick one.
Yeah.
And again, what we've chosen and what I do with all that one message is testing it. Continuing to have it, continuing to hammer it, continuing to put it out there, because we get these mixed messages that we don't have the right message, we don't have the right this, what's the one thing? And just focus on that. My one thing is you need to make money every time you step up to the mic. And if you listen to me today and when you listen to me after this, you'll hear me say it over and over and over again, because I want to be known for that one thing. I'm now known for being the podcast guest profitable expert. Like, that's the one thing. Making 10K from your mic, that's the one thing. What's the one thing? And just go all in on that. Just as a slight tangent, years ago, I was in a room with James Wedmore.
Yeah.
Right? He was talking about a funnel that he had. One funnel, it made $275,000. It was one thing. Everyone else tries to complicate us, to scare us so that we buy their program. My one thing is making money from being on podcasts. What's your one thing?
And speaking to the name of this podcast, How to Trust Yourself, showing up, like going toward your one thing, because fear will try to take us in a million different directions and, running in circles, but just deciding this is my one thing and I'm going to show up for it consistently. That really starts to build trust with yourself.
Yeah. Great.
And with your audience. It's a win-win.
It always is. And I
Yeah.
really appreciate the name of the podcast. And you kept going back to the nervous system. And it is about trusting yourself. And it is about trusting yourself and knowing yourself well enough to be like, no, let's go back over here. No, let's go back over here. Right. And knowing who to trust or who not knowing who to trust. But when you look at the people who you want to emulate and you look at the people that you want to follow, look and see the evidence of what you're trying to create. Because people ask me all the time, they're like, well, when should I start doing media? When you have something to say and something to sell. And that has never changed.
Yeah. And P.S., you have something to say. Whoever
Yes.
is listening right now, you have something to say. We all do. Finally, where can people find you? I know you mentioned some things earlier, but let's repeat it. Let's practice what we preach and repeat it. Where can people find you? How can they work with you? Where can they grab that 10K checklist?
The easiest place to go is my favorite's Instagram. You can find me at Beth Nydick. That's Beth NY on every platform. I'm more active. I know everyone laughs when I say it that way, but everyone remembers.
I'm a teenage boy.
Everyone remembers when I say it that way. You think my husband loves that? No. But I offer, lots of downloads. I have a launch coming up called Mike to Millions, which is my 3-month program, where if you actually want to use podcast guesting as a revenue stream, I'm the only person on the market talking about it this way, doing it this way. DM me the word Anna, and I have something special just for your listeners that'll not only give you the secret to podcast guesting being profitable, but also give you some more information on what could be next.
Sweet. Amazing. Wonderful. And of course, I will have all of those links and reminders in the show notes so folks can find you easily and reach out. Beth, I knew it would be so fun to chat with you, and it was above and beyond. So glad to know you. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me. I can't wait to come back.
Yay. If you enjoyed today's episode, please do me a favor. Hit that follow button so you don't miss a thing, and leave a rating or review. It helps more people find this show, and honestly, it makes my day. And if you're looking for more ways to trust yourself and start listening to that gut instinct of yours, come hang out with me on Instagram at Anna_Holtzman. Let's keep the conversation going. Thanks so much for listening, and until next time, trust yourself. You've got this.